What is good? It is your boy Pablo Gray. We are back with another reaction video. And today we have Sanders on protests. Americans want out of touch politicians to pay attention. If I'm not mistaken, Sanders happens to be this woman that I don't know what the fuck she does, but I know she's on like the Trump administration. And you gotta forgive me. I'm not trying to, demeanor anybody or nothing, but she looks silly as shit. I'm sorry. She just looked funny. No disrespect to her, but yeah, before we get into the video, smash the subscribe button, like, comment, share, appreciate it. It is still 420, so we still sparking up, we still hotboxing, we still going higher than Spaceballs. Let's go.
Let's bring in Sarah Sanders, Fox News contributor, former White House press secretary. Sarah, welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be with you guys this morning.
So the president laid out a framework on Thursday, and he said this is what you need to do to get through phase 1, 2, and 3. And then a little bit later on, he tweeted out support for those protesting. Do you believe you could do both, lay out a framework and support protesters and use the term liberate?
Look, there's nobody who wants to reopen the government more than President Trump. He wants to see people getting back to work. He's a business.
Hold up. Forgive me for laughing, man, but as you can see, what I like about her though, because I really wasn't paying too much attention to, at least to the Trump administration, like until like the last 4 months. I admit the pandemic made me pay a little bit more attention, but I've always been into what's going on around me and my surroundings as far as politics and current events and international affairs and but I've always, oh shit, sorry if I tapped the mic, but I've always noticed that she be going hard, bro. She be going hard for the president for whatever fucking reason. She probably know what she talking about, but like she said, man, she believe the president trying his hardest. Ain't no reason why he would want to open up the economy again. Oh man, that face.
More than President Trump. He wants to see people getting back to work. He's a businessman at heart, and he wants businesses in this country to be able to open, to be able to thrive. At the same time, he has maintained social distancing guidelines, and I think people need to take those seriously. I think at the end of the day, millions of Americans are frankly frustrated. They're watching liberal politicians like Nancy Pelosi go on TV and on social media parading around flashing their $13 a pint ice cream in their faces when they don't have $13 to feed their families. There's no doubt that they're frustrated, as a lot of these people that depend on small.
All right, so I'm gonna pause it right there. Basically, what she said is like, people really want to reopen the economy and the protesters and things like that, because she's saying, how do you feel about, can Trump really try to be on the side of legislators and also the people who are protesting against these legislations. Basically what she's saying is that these people just really want to go back to work, and I totally understand. And can you be mad at them? A lot of people don't have bread to wait this out any longer. Like, some people just ran out of time. Some other people are fortunate to continue to hold out and be able to survive in this. So like, you got to think about it like that. It's really hard to imagine yourself in someone's shoes when you're not in that predicament. It's really hard to do so.
Small businesses are angry that they're not opening back up, that their federal government is delaying more funding that we're seeing that from Pelosi and the Democrats just over the last couple of weeks. And as we saw Kevin McCarthy talking about earlier, people are getting angry, they're getting upset, and they want people out of touch politicians like Nancy Pelosi to start paying attention to the real needs that they have and helping them step up and meet those. At the end of the day, Congress gets paid whether they show up to work or not, and they don't understand sometimes that people that have to show up in order to get a paycheck.
I'm glad she said that, because I don't think a lot of people realize when you on salary, or when you have a job where the money's gonna come in regardless, where you don't have to show up to a certain place at a certain time every single day, or dedicate your time somewhere for the majority of the time in order to get a paycheck. It's very hard to understand that and be in other people's shoes. Like she said, some people gotta show up to work to get their money. That's it is what it is. And that's why the title of this video want out of touch politicians to pay attention. It's because it's these politicians, they can't relate. They can't relate, man. This is why I think people need to change the system, man. We need, starting now, only elect people that's been there, bro. That's from the people. These people that's groomed up to be politicians from day one. They go to the best private schools, the best second education and higher education, the Ivy League schools, just to become a politician. Is just the same shit, and these people are so out of touch with everything else around them, because 9 times out of 10 they never experience shit like that. Let's go.
And can't, are frustrated.
Some of these protesters, you're right, are angry. The ones that are showing up for these protests because they don't want to stay at home. They want to be able to go outside and do things as long as they're with their family and they're following the rules. So we saw all these protests over the weekend. We're going to see 10 across the country today, and some of them are holding up signs, Sarah, that say like "in the virus, not the economy." I read one that said, "Every day that goes by, you're hurting our state." And another guy says, "It's not worth." He said, "The shutdown and economic costs not worth the few lives that it will save." So Nancy Pelosi was asked about it, and this is what she says.
Can you understand why they're doing that?
No, not really, because what we have to do is...
Listen, I don't even know Nancy Pelosi. I don't know too much about her, but she looked like she almost out of here. She one scare, one frightened moment away from being up out of here, and it honestly looked like she's never had to really worry about shit. That's just my opinion, and the only reason I'm saying that is because her position in politics right now. I can't imagine someone being in her position, having and coming from really nothing. I just can't imagine it, and it's not a race thing or nothing like that. It's just typical. Even if she was black, I couldn't imagine her coming from nothing, being in that position. I feel like you got all the resources right there, and someone helped you along the way. Some steady hand. But let's go. Oh shit.
Is shelter in place. That is really the answer. Testing, tracing, treatment, shelter in place. And I do think that it's unfortunate. But, people will do what they do. But the fact is, we're all...
Only plus I'm going to give her in this is that she did not mention vaccines. Good job, Nancy.
Patient, we all want out, but what they're doing is really unfortunate.
Sarah, what's your reaction?
Frankly, I think what's unfortunate is that an out-of-touch
Why they cut her off like that? Oh, shit, I'm died in here. Let me grab the water. Let me wind that back.
Sarah, what's your reaction?
Frankly, I think what's unfortunate is that an out-of-touch multimillionaire like Nancy Pelosi is holding up the funding that would help these people.
Called it. Like I said, I know nothing about her. I just heard her name being mentioned a lot. I just know, goes the lighter. I just know a lot of people hate her, dislike her for whatever reason. But I called it. Millionaire, out of touch. Fit the profile.
Not just save lives, but save livelihoods. This has been an intense focus of the president, is protecting both parts of the American way of life, both protecting individual health and life of Americans across the country, as well as making sure we're protecting their livelihoods. And Nancy Pelosi, you can see that she frankly just doesn't understand the frustration of people who need their jobs or need funding through these small business package and legislation.
Just said it. Just said it. We on the same page. Shout out Sarah Sanders. Oh, okay. I just see it right here. Former White House press secretary.
Legislation in order to get their paychecks and keep things moving. She just, frankly, I think showed exactly why she is so out of touch. And I think that's the most unfortunate thing about it, is that she's one of the people making decisions for everybody else in this country, but she doesn't understand the pain and the hurt and the suffering that these people are going through, because she's not having to suffer or experience any of that herself.
That's what I was just saying, man. Y'all start electing officials that you can relate to. If they don't have a similar experience to you, don't vote for them. Straight up like that. Because they probably don't know where you're coming from. They probably really don't know where you're coming from. Sincerely or geographically. Just being real with you.
She has that cushion and that financial security that most Americans don't have.
You know, Sarah, I think the average American watching this right now, they're worried about their health. They're worried about their wealth. They wonder when this ends. And when they see people who are playing politics with this during a time of a global pandemic, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, I've seen it play on both sides of the aisle. The person at home just goes, can't we get this solved first? Because it's just, it just seems tone deaf.
Absolutely, and I don't think that there's probably anything more disheartening than seeing Washington being completely dysfunctional at a time when we need it to come together more.
Like I said this shit, bro. We on the same wavelength. It is so dysfunctional in Washington right now. So dysfunctional that there is no real game plan. There is no real game plan. The game plan definitely can't be to just sit and wait it out. That's why people is protesting. They scared because they don't know what's about to happen. They know they just can't just sit back and wait around, because there's no real fucking plan in place. That's the only way they gonna come up with the plan. Gotta protest. Gotta do something. You just gonna sit at home and tweet away? Think that's gonna make something happen? No. Take some action. It just shows me some people just want to fight for their freedom. Whether they good or bad, they want to fight for their freedom. Wouldn't you?
More than ever to help the people of this country. I think one of the great things that has taken place over the last several weeks is we've seen the heart of America. We've seen people step up and help their neighbors. We've seen so many signs of people showing compassion and love in a way that we don't get to always appreciate, that we don't slow down to take. I think Washington needs to pay attention to some of that compassion and some of that love that everyday Americans are constantly showing. and try to reflect some of that and move quickly to get things done and make sure that people have the resources and the things that they need to continue and to carry on with their way of life. This is America. We still continue to be the greatest country on the face of the planet. Let's act like it. Let's get things done. Let's make sure we're taking good care of people. I think the president has been a strong leader on that front, and we need to rally around him. We need to rally around our governors, our doctors, our nurses, and not politicize this fight, but really focus on the solutions instead of the attacks.
Right, Sarah, no matter.
Listen, man, I couldn't have said it any better. Focus on the solution, not the attack. Focus on the solution. Shit. What else did it say? Focus on the solution. I doubt it, but any politicians that come across this, focus on the solution. Anybody that watches this, tell your politicians, your legislation, focus on the solution. Fuck everything else. Come up with a plan. But shit, guess that's it. Happy 420.